Alright, I've been wanting to make this video for a little while, but I've been using every excuse on why not to do it. You're going to have to forgive me, because I'm going to do a couple different things. Like, I got $3,000 worth of video equipment in my conference room, but I choose to set my phone up and use my whiteboard right here because I want this to be as quick as possible. Alright, and I don't have a lot of time. Use my whiteboard. Y'all take notes of this. It's been up there a while. Y'all bear with me. I'm going to teach y'all something today. You can take it, you can like it, you can criticize it, you can do whatever. I don't really care. But I get a few messages through social media and all that about different things that I've experienced over the last few years. As most of you know who follow me, we are a small asphalt company in South Louisiana. Started about 5 years ago. I literally had $600, $800 in my bank account. I began this project with $600, turned it into $1,000, turned that $1,000 into 10, 10 into 100, 100 into 6, and on to $1 million. And I've done it within 5 years, and I have learned so much along the way. And the beautiful thing about it is I developed this on nobody's back but my own. I have taken zero investment money. I've asked zero people for money. The only debt I have is about $50,000 to the bank right now. And I'm not saying that's the best way to do it, but that's the way that I've developed this business into a high 6, low 7 income business in 5 years. Others may be looking at this saying, oh, well, he's only 6 figures, low 7s on a good year. But anybody that has a half-assed sense can make $1 million business with somebody else's money, but they can't do it with their own. I'm going to tell you how to do it with your own. One of the biggest things is bidding properly. I'm going to tell you a secret. I have been fucking up on this for a long time. So it took me a few $1,000s to learn how bad I've been messing up. And we have been running 30 to 40% profit on most of our projects. However, the issue is I wasn't taking into account for a lot of different things. So I'm going to show you today. You need to have different categories on how you bid a job. Our bidding process goes something like this. Now, we're a little ancient with liking to write everything down, but this is how our bidding paperwork usually goes. First off, we write what is our job scope, tonnage, cost per ton, and total cost. Very simple, something like that. Next, we have all of the moving parts that's in there. Trucking, labor, rentals, fuel, and then an extra in there. And we figure out what our cost is for each one of these. Once we have this cost, then we move down to a total cost of goods sold. And we figure out what that is. This is where most people mess up, because they think on a job, this is all a customer should pay for. I do not believe that. So once you figure out what your total cost is, there's a couple other categories that you need to have. You need to have an expense category. This is how much it costs you a day to run your business. If you work or not work, how much it costs a day to run your business. And if you do not know this number, that's your mess up number one. Figure this number out before you bid another project. Figure out how much it costs you a day to run your project. Once you figure that number, that gets added in to this total. Say it's a $7,000 job. It's going to take you 2 days at $1,200 a day equals $1,400. That and that, $8,400. This is one. Then you have your other subcategories. This is your owner's category. Let's erase this. So we had total cost of goods sold, $7,000. Then you had your operating expense, $1,200 a day. Look, and if you're creating paperwork and this number does not change, put it in there. Put the number in there, make it solid. That way it never changes. However, as your company grows, and I'll tell you this was a mistake that we made last year, at the beginning of the year it cost X amount to run our company. By the end of the year it cost Y. I never categorized or increased X to Y, which cost me substantially at the end of the year when I done my end of year balances. We made a lot of money last year, and it took a nice slap in the face to realize how bad we messed up. So I'm sharing this with you this year, January of 2020, to make sure that you don't do the same mistakes that we did. And look, if you already do this, fuck you, shut it off. Don't worry about it. This is for the people everybody who knows this stuff. This is for the people who don't know it, but everybody else wants to keep it a secret like it's some kind of hush-hush thing. No, we want you to succeed. So our failures, we tell you about our failures so you can succeed in this area. $1,400. Now, we need owner's cut. Yes, if you're an owner and you have employees, you need to get a cut of the business that goes on. I don't care what anybody tells you. Oh, well, I just pull that out of the profit. Let your company make a profit. The owner has still got to make some amount of money. 5%, 10%, whatever you can get away with that you feel comfortable, we do 5%. 5% automatically gets put into an account for the owner's dividends that's collected in draws throughout the year or taken to reinvest. If you want to step back out of this business 10 years from now, you need to start having an owner's draw. That equals whatever that number is. Look, I ain't gonna pull out my calculator. You guys can figure this out. Total cost of goods, $7,000. Operating expense, $1,400. Owner dividend, 5% of this number. Your profit you want to make. So, profit on the project. 20%, 25%, 30%. When you start doing it like this, you get into the over 25% of true profit. You're going to be a little on the high side from what we've seen. We're comfortable at 20 to 25%, but we always try to do market value at, whatever the market value is and calculate that and see how far off we are from it. Sometimes we're over, sometimes we're under, but we always stay true to 20 to 25%. You take these two numbers and you do 25% of there. If you have a sales rep, you take your sales commission, and if they make 5%, of every profitable job, then you take this number and then you divide it by 5% or multiply it by 0.05 to equal your sales commission. Then you take taxes, whatever your tax bracket is for your area, federally and state, you get with your CPA, and then you add that number in. We'll call it 20%. You take 20% of your profit. So if your profit's at $1,200, say, that's how much you put into an account, your profit account, and you don't even touch that. So if you're like, man, Chris, I can't survive off of $1,200. This is overhead money. This is clear money. Your operations expense. Now, this is the thing about it, though. Your customers are paying for 2 days of your operations expense. If you don't work for another month, then you need to adjust your operations expense and how you calculate all this, right? So if you want to come in and have a lower profit and have a higher operations expense, you'll have to tweak that yourself. This is just a base of the way you need to start thinking about your numbers. You have to figure out how much that job is going to cost you. You have to figure out how much your labor and your office expenses and the daily utilities that cost you and stuff like that. That's all operations expense. Everything that does not change no matter what, insurances, stuff like that, office expense, these things do not change. It costs you this much a month, whether you work 1 day or 30 days or 31 days. That's how much it costs you a day. So if you only work 2 days out of that month, then your profits are going to suffer. But you need to start calculating all of these so you know exactly how much profit you're going to put into an account, how much your sales commission is going to be, tax is going to be. 20% of $1,200 is what, $240? So then you take all of this and it equals your job cost. We'll say this is 100. This is, sales commission is 5%. That's 120. Half of that is 60. So add all these numbers together. 5, 97, 9760. I know you guys are probably like, Chris, fuck, man. It's 7, 8, 9, 10, 10. And then add the 1. It's $10,000. How do you not know that? I do a lot of fucking math, and I use a calculator for a lot of it. That's how I don't know that. So, $10,000. This job should cost you $10,000 to do it in 2 days. You're gonna make $1,200 off of it. $1,200 goes into an account. Sales commission pulls $60. Whatever the case is. If you want it more, so be it. Your taxes, that's taken care of. So all, that goes into a tax account. You have another account for sales commission, another account for profit, another account for owner's dividend, another account for operations expense, and another account for cost of goods sold. And out of every job, you send out a bid for $10,000 and you get that $10,000 out there. This could be your primary. This is the one that you deposit everything into. So you take it, and then as soon as you put that $10,000 in there, you take $1,400, put in your operations expense, take $100 of it, put it in the owner's dividends, take $1,200, put it in a profit, so forth and so on. And at the end of the year, or if you do a profit sharing with your company or whatever, these accounts will do nothing. These accounts will do nothing but grow. When your CPA calls you and says, hey, taxes is due, you give them this account number and say, pull out whatever because you got it saved. So look, this is how in 2020 we have learned to, the end of 2019, 2020, this is how we learn to bid every job. People pay thousands of dollars to get this information. Takes hours to read books on proper bidding and all this stuff, and then takes years to perfect it. You need to start now. If this sounds funny to you, one thing that I've learned over the last 5 years with making a lot of money, losing a lot of money, I never had a strong count on exactly how much money we had. When I thought we had 150,000 in the bank, we really only had 75 in the bank. When I thought we had 300,000 in profit, we actually only had 120 in profit, because I did not take in account all this other moving parts that was going on, you know. So far this is working for us. A lot of people's asked us, they're just getting into it. How do we bid? This is how I would do it. Take it or don't take it. But this, for everybody who messaged me and says, hey, we're just getting into seal coating or asphalt or landscaping or whatever the fuck you're getting into, this is how I would bid. I would not say I bid at 20 cents a square foot, or $1.95 a square foot for paving, or X amount for patching and whatever. I would do this. And then at the end of it, you can figure out what your total square footage cost per square footage is. And look, you may be at 17 cents a square foot, or you may be at 25 cents a square foot. That's okay. Depends on how big and how small you guys are. So take it. If you have any questions, please hit us up. Facebook, Loves Asphalt Solutions. YouTube, same thing. I wish you all the best of luck. Keep it up.